Namaste. I'm Dr. Robert, and today on 5-ish Minutes with Dr. Robert, my subject is the Sade Sati. Sade Sat in Hindi means 7.5. Sade Sati means the 7.5 period, and it is used to refer to the 7.5-year period during which Saturn transits the Rashi, the constellation, the sidereal constellation, before the one your moon is in, and then the one your moon is in, and then the one after your moon is in. So, for example, if your moon happens to be in Pisces, then your Sade Sati would begin when Saturn moves into Aquarius, and it would continue while Saturn is in Pisces, and it would end after Saturn departs from Aries and enters into Taurus. Remember, we're talking about the sidereal constellations here, not the Western or tropical astrology signs, which are distinct from, those two are distinct from one another. So the Sade Sati indicates a period during which the constricting, hard, slow, dry, disappointing, destructive, damaging, debilitating influence of Saturn is imposed upon the gentle, soft, luminous, changeable, and otherwise interested in enjoying herself moon. So the moon is juicy and Saturn is dry. So Saturn tends to remove the juice from life during the Sade Sati. It's very common that during the first Sade Sati of your life, you will lose your grandparents. And during the second, you lose your parents. And often during the third, you may lose your own life. It's not always that happens, but it is usually the case that some kind of chhatra bhanga occurs. Chhatra means the roof over your head. It can also mean an umbrella. Bhanga means to break. So if you have no roof and or no umbrella, you are completely under the control of the elements. The sun will broil you, and the rain will inundate you, and the wind will whip you about. So Saturn deliberately, because that's his job. He's not doing it for any kind of malevolence. He is doing it simply because that's what he is assigned as a task in the Navagraha Mandala, the circle of the 9 planets. His job is to make everything disappointing. So he takes away protective influences from your life, and then you have to be exposed to reality, even though you were possibly trying to avoid being exposed to reality. The Sade Sati also occurs in a slightly less intense form when Saturn is in the 4th from the moon and Saturn is in the 8th from the moon. And you will now possibly say, wait a minute, that means in 5 out of a possible 12 positions, Saturn is actually trying actively to make my life more miserable. And I will say, well, that is what Saturn is engineered to do. That is his purpose in the sky. So during the Sade Sati, it is very desirable for you to find an appropriate way to salute Saturn, especially on Saturdays. You can fast, you can read the greatness of Saturn, you can serve other people, there are many different ways that you can work with Saturn, but it's very desirable to find a way to actively work with Saturn. And then if you do so with a genuine humility, then there is every possibility, almost a likelihood, that Saturn will show you some mercy and at least make things not as bad for you as they might have been. This is Dr. Robert wishing everyone mercy from Saturn.